Hi everyone, The Lone Wolf here, and welcome to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in gaming. And last week, unfortunately, I had to go back to work, so that does mean that I had a little bit less time to play games and to make videos about it. Still, when it comes to EVE Online, I played a normal amount of EVE Online. What's a normal average amount of EVE Online for me? I would say playing every day and probably somewhere from 1 hour to 2 hours on a weekday, and then a little bit more during the weekends. That's like a normal amount of EVE Online for me. It's mostly been more of the same. I've been keeping up with my Blueprint copy business, which although a lot of them are much lower in price than they were a few months ago, I'm still managing to sell at a decent pace, although from time to time we do have some problems unloading all of our contracts. But it's still making me a little bit of money, and since I am now at more than 3 billion liquid in the wallet, I am also starting to diversify, buying up some minerals, mostly because I think that a lot of those are extremely low and will go a lot higher through the winter, I think. Other than that, in EVE Online, of course, a lot did happen, especially the announcement of the alpha clones. So a freemium trial without time limitation is basically how you could see it. I think it's going to be pretty interesting and pretty cool for the game, and it's one of those things now that I'm starting to plan for, because I definitely want to have my own alpha account where I will try to push those clones to their limits when it comes to different aspects of EVE Online. I'm thinking a Galente character for PvE for ISK making, a Kaldari character for nullsec, and a Minmatar character for faction warfare. I think that's pretty much the plan there. I just need to work out the details for myself about how I want to schedule that, how I want to do that, how I want to cover all of that. But I think it could be a pretty damn cool experiment, and I've got a small story to share with you guys about that as well. You'll see the video of that next week, but I made a Vexor Navy issue that should be flyable by an alpha state Galente character, and I went explore a little bit in Galente space. I found 2 Serpentis Narcotics warehouse right one after another, and that made me 200 million ISK. So I do think that the potential for these alpha clone characters should not be underestimated. They'll find their niches. One thing, of course, is that in PvP they will be quite a bit weaker than Omega characters, but when it comes to PvP, it's going to be all about finding the right corporation, the right alliance to join. There are, of course, also the industrial arrays that are coming, but I think I'm pretty much ready with the preparation, so I'm eagerly awaiting the dev blog, so I know exactly what materials I need, how much money I'll need, and then I look forward to getting that up in detail as well, to try and get a full set of services available for players there. And after that, we also still have the coronation, so a storyline event, a coronation of the Amar Empress, that should be coming September 27th, I think, is what it says on EVE updates. So I look forward to that. Hopefully that will also be the start of more live events, more storytelling in EVE Online, because that is, of course, one of the aspects that I enjoy most about the game. So yeah, unfortunately, September, October, it's really looking like it's going to be a bit more of the same, basically preparing for the November expansion. CCP is calling it an expansion by now, but luckily there should be CC stuff to come. There could be some interesting things when it comes to the rebalance of the mining ships, but I think honestly we know all about that. It's not like a big revolution or anything like that. So yeah, most of it is going to be keeping an eye out for the dev blogs, keeping an eye on CC for the first deployments of the industrial arrays, of the boosting changes, of the alpha state clones and all of that stuff. And then in November, jumping in on an alpha state clone state account as well, and seeing what the game has to offer for those players that are looking to enjoy EVE Online as a free-to-play character. So lots in the pipeline, but not right away. Right now it's still in preparation phase. Honestly, I think that's a good thing, because that means that I can stock up on more minerals, which I think are going to make me an easy 10-15% profit. I can also maybe buy a couple of injectors, maybe a couple of extra plex if I make a lot of money. So I'm actually happy with this little period here right after the summer, where we can still go and make the right preparations and try to make some money out of everything that's coming our your way. Next to EVE Online, as I've said, I had to go back to work, so I didn't get to do all that much, but I managed to keep up with Elder Scrolls Legends, so that's the card game from Bethesda that is set in the Elder Scrolls universe. I'm still enjoying this game. The fact that you can save up to 3 daily quests and you can switch one out every day means that you can basically get away with playing Elder Scrolls Legends every 2 to 3 days, grind out the quests, get the goals, enjoy a couple of arenas and build your decks up like that. It's a new card game as well, so the meta is still in full development, and you can basically still get in here on the ground floor and try to enjoy the game a little bit. I think it's pretty damn cool. It's one of those things that become part of my routine. Maybe need to spend half an hour to an hour on the game whenever I'm doing some of the quests, and just keep earning that gold and keep enjoying the game as free as possible. And for now, honestly, it's working out quite nicely. I'm enjoying it a whole lot. Next to that, I played a little bit of Fallout 4. I took my first steps into Nuka World, the final DLC for Fallout 4, and I have to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed because they once again, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know anything about Nuka World, then don't stop the video at this point. But they're once again going with a 3 faction structure. This time you start the game, you become overboss of 3 gangs that are cooperating to take over Nuka World, and you once again have to juggle these 3 factions, try to keep everyone content. If you're a good guy, go for the crazy faction. If you're a bad guy, and then you just have to again start building up Nuka World, recapturing different parts of the theme park there. So I'm a bit disappointed that they once again are going with this 3 faction setup, where you do right for one faction, the other 2 are not going to like that. So you have to try to balance that a little bit, but we already know from the base game and from Far Harbor that your decisions have very little actual impact on the game. So the other factions are maybe grumble a little bit, but they're very unlikely to actually do anything drastic. You can't really be an all-out bad guy, at least you couldn't so far. Maybe with the Raiders it's a little bit different. I've only started the game or the DLC there, but yeah, I'm again seeing that same setup, that same mechanic come back once again to try and tell a story of Nuka World there, and I'm honestly, I've had enough of that setup. So I would honestly have preferred them to try and do something completely different for Nuka World. It's also full of clowns, and clowns are not really my favorite thing. Yeah, the setting is not entirely my cup of tea either. I much preferred Far Harbor. The atmosphere there was great. So a mysterious island set in a mysterious mist. You had that post-apocalyptic feel, but you also had a little bit more of a nature. It has taken over, or has taken a lot of that island back. There are big marshes, big forests, dangerous wildlife, a lot more stuff that was atmospheric and that felt like survival in a post-apocalyptic world. In Nuka World, it's a completely different setting that is not my preferred setting. So yeah, this DLC, of course, I didn't have to buy it separately. I bought the season pass for Fallout 4, and I still don't regret buying the game at all. But for this DLC so far, I'm basically not all too happy with the decisions that they've made here. I think that sure, try a different setting, I can understand that, but then at least try to tell the story in a different way. Try a different setup than again with the 3 factions. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed by that. I'll still try to get myself through the entire DLC, but there's already been like some puzzle parts there that I didn't enjoy and that felt a little bit too convoluted. And there's even one where it's basically like you have to find your way through spinning tunnels there, and that had such an annoying light scheme to it that I actually got physically a little bit sick from just having to slug my way through that tunnel part of the DLC so far. So yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. I gotta be honest. Maybe other people will greatly enjoy that, but I think seeing the same 3 factions, try and juggle those, try and work with 3 different factions, or get them to work together for a 3rd time, that definitely feels like a little bit of overkill. They could have gone for something completely different, in my opinion. But yeah, Fallout 4, right? I've gotten so much time in that game that I don't regret it for any moment. I still think it's an absolutely great game. Just the final DLC there, I don't know, not what I would have gone with. And then finally, I also want to do a quick mention of the Elder Scrolls Online. I've not played the Elder Scrolls Online in several months, but I've been watching some footage from a convention where they've been talking a lot more about their future plans. And in the Elder Scrolls Online, they have something called One Tamriel coming, where basically all the zones will level or scale to the level of your character, meaning that you will be able to go to any zone in the Elder Scrolls Online world and enjoy the content, do the quests there, explore that world, which, I mean, it's still not an Elder Scrolls game. An Elder Scrolls game should actually be an MMO with the EVE Online rules, with a full sandbox, full looting and all of that stuff, but it's another step closer, and my experience so far in the Elder Scrolls Online has been pretty good. I've enjoyed the stories there, I've enjoyed the questing, I've enjoyed basically playing that as an Elder Scrolls game, albeit with more restrictive rules, more PvE MMO-ish rules to it. But so this One Tamriel, basically you'll just be able to walk from one zone to another, regardless of your level, and just to play any story you like, explore any zone you like. I absolutely do like that idea, and so when that comes out, I do think that I'll jump back into some Elder Scrolls Online as well, explore One Tamriel, probably with a new character, just give it a fresh start and go through that. But that sounds like a really good plan that should bring the Elder Scrolls Online a bit closer to the Elder Scrolls experience that we all want. So it actually looks pretty good for this game. They've said that they have more than 7 million active players, which I can believe. It's buy to play now, and it's a quality product. If you don't expect a full sandboxy experience, which you do get in the single player Elder Scrolls games, but you also don't expect a full MMO grind PvE setting either, like a World of Warcraft or something like that. This is more about stories, more about exploring this world, experiencing this world. Then yeah, it still has a lot to offer, and I think it's heading in the right direction development-wise with One Tamriel. So I look forward to that, and I will probably jump in once that is available. That's going to be it for this Sunday recap then, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.